Hello, beautiful water signs, Scorpio, Pisces, and Cancer. Welcome to my channel, Rose Healing Light. My name is Ivona Rose. Yeah, and I'm happy and thank you for joining me for this video. This will be a reading for the whole year, or it's a yearly reading for 2023. And the way the way I set it up, or the way it's going to work, so first of all, it may apply, let's say, at different times, or these messages which you hear today, let's say, they may apply at different times during the year. And the first portion of the of the video will be like a general message for all the water signs. This was, I mean, I've received this guidance and I've spoken with the angels also. So, and that's also because sometimes we have similar, so water signs can have sometimes similar trajectories. So the first portion will be general message for all three water signs, right? And then I'm going to, and then the next, and I'm going to do three separate messages, or three separate videos for each water sign. So for Cancer, for Scorpio, and for Pisces as well. And they will be all posted as one video so that you guys can come back perhaps and reference later on. There is also a message here for you guys, also from the angels, like a request and recommendation, that because this reading, first of all, listen first to the general reading, because perhaps then if you are, let's say, a Pisces, listen to the general and then listen to your Pisces specific reading, because they may altogether make better sense for you, right? And also the second message is to listen. So this is what the angels have asked me to tell you specifically, to remember that, let's say you will be listening or watching this video, I don't know, sometime, let's say in January, right? But remember that these messages at some point may apply to you or to your situations and may give you extra guidance at any point. So it's different for different people, but at any point during the whole year, right? And the request and the guidance from the angels is that you will always be able, and like you are invited to come back to that video and perhaps re-listen, and it's very possible that you perhaps will need that guidance, right, or a reminder. I also wanted to tell you perhaps that the reason is, I know when I have been, and I've been watching also videos in the past, right, when I was learning, and I still watch sometimes, because kind of I like, when the readers also, I like to receive guidance, but I would also say that remember that the energy is changing every single day. So in January, these messages may sound slightly differently. You may perceive them differently. And for example, in 6 months' time, once you know that something happened, right, or whatever is the situation, perhaps, or whatever you need to deal with, yeah, your energy would have changed definitely in 6 months' time, right? And when you go back and listen to the video, it will, you may be really surprised. You may even think, wow, I thought I remembered maybe this from January and I didn't even remember this part of it. Or anyway, it will give you probably like a better clarity, right? And I know I'm telling you, I've tested it myself. I know I sometimes go back to even other readings, like sometimes even from the past. But also, yeah, and they do give me insights, right? But I would also say, listen to your intuition, and pay attention to what, let's say, comes up also on your screen as a suggestion from YouTube, because this may definitely, if it comes up more than once, it will mean, for example, that there's an important message for you in this reading or in this video. Yeah, and I think also, so probably I just wanted, yeah, probably one other thing that I wanted to say. So the general message, the same, for example, if you are, let's say, if you are a Pisces sun. So if you, okay, for those who, first of all, either if you know your birth chart, then I would suggest also you can sometimes listen to, for example, if Pisces is your sun sign, but you have Cancer, obviously somewhere else, let's say your 8th house would be Cancer, right? Then if you feel, let's say, intuitively drawn, or you feel some nudge to listen to Cancer, then please listen to Cancer, because it will give you some important messages as well, right? So I would also say, please continue to, I'm highly intuitive, and I probably usually try to teach and coach people to listen, to learn about their intuition, and to listen to the intuition, and also listen to whatever, let's say, as I said, whatever is coming up on, for example, on your screen. Let's say, when you watch maybe videos, like as a suggestion, right? Because YouTube does do suggestions, for example. And if there is something that keeps coming up, you may also use it for other, let's say, readers or other videos, right? That when something keeps coming up a few times at least, or like you really see it very clearly, this means that there's a message for you in there. All right, so I just wanted to give you a bit of like a heads up and a bit of an explanation. I hope you guys are doing well. And perhaps, so let's just go ahead and get started with the reading. As I said, so this will be a general message for all the water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. And I've got, so I've got like my positions are, I've got 3 cards, but I've got more because more came out, but there's like 3 positions. It's a little bit like past, present, future, but I also have asked that I wanted to see it's a bit like a story, right? And so I've got like 3, let's say, 3 tarot cards, and then I've got also like 3, let's say, clarifiers from the energy, energy oracle deck. So let me start with, and let me show you, I think I will show it to you one by one because it's easier for me also to explain. I would say, okay, let me just say the general message that I felt straight away is that you are, guys, in a process of regaining and reclaiming your power, right? So from the past, so from anything that happened in the past, you are obviously, you have been, or you are rebuilding also your foundations. That's how I feel. And probably most of you, anyway, it's different for different people, but I feel like most of you will know what this means, right? So what this means, and you probably have been already learning, it feels to me, because it's the first position that, yeah, how, like, let's say, how you give the power away and how you can take it back. But the process, it seems like you've already, for most of you, you've already started the process in the past, maybe even months, or for some of you, years ago. So you're also your transformation path, perhaps, right? And it feels like this year it will be a continuation of that, but I think you will have to learn more about your power, to also take your and reclaim your power. So this I feel like this is a strong message, and there is an aspect of clarity coming to you. So you'll be clear in your mind, or also clear in your heart, perhaps. You've got also Queen of Air, and she actually does have a sharp mind. So you may come sometimes to some conclusion, even at some point, that okay, perhaps I'm done with that, right? And you will know how to deal with the situation, and this, and how to take your power back from, let's say, a person. That's very often, and I think there is a male highlighted here, but it doesn't have to be. But I'm just saying also, and yeah, and I feel like the whole process. So you will be going. So I think this is probably one of the main theme for all of you guys for the year, right? So let me start. So this is the first. So you do have. So this is like your first position. A little bit like the past, I would say, right? You've got the Emperor card, number 4. That's a major arcana card with them. And this is with the 3rd chakra. Archangel Samuel is here with the 3rd chakra. And this card is reversed. But I would say, whatever, sorry guys, whatever this is telling me, that, as I said it, that the process of you reclaiming and regaining, or taking your power back and reclaiming your power in various situations in life and also in relationships, it's going to continue, but I feel like it will take a totally different turn, right? And you will be able, I feel like the message here is that maybe you will be able even to come up from the bottom. I'm sorry but I know, like, probably maybe you have been healing, guys. I'm a healer, so I believe that I speak to many people who are on the path of healing. Some things may have been hurtful to you in the past, but I feel like this year brings you an aspect of clarity and an aspect of, yeah, I can do it. I know I can, and I don't have to, let's say, give in to some old patterns, right? Or patterns. And this does come, okay, now this feels like patterns in relationships are coming up strongly. The Emperor card, let me just feel if there's any message. Patterns, yeah, so patterns and power so how do you give in relationships, right? So how do you give your power, and how do you receive power? But that's a bit weird thing. But just also please use this message, guys, perhaps, because I wanted to say perhaps to contemplate as well, right? It's a general reading for the year. So as I said, so how do you also receive power? But this is probably how you know that there is, let's say, an equal power, or how someone, let's say, gave you too much maybe power. I think that some of you who maybe have been working on it for some time, you will be able to even understand this aspect, when people maybe give you too much power and you feel like, I don't feel comfortable with that, right? So there's a lot of, let's say, issues and kind of maybe even interesting situations about power. I would say continue to observe as well, right? And you will know, I feel like you will know what to do. And let me just come back. It's funny because these cards feel like there's some stuckness or some blockage, but when I wanted to talk about this card, but I feel like it's time, because I don't want to prolong the message, that the Emperor card is usually a significant male in your life. So, and it could be a father or a father figure. It could also be like a spouse, husband, a partner. I would also say that it can, so this is one aspect, right? And if for those of you guys who perhaps have been on a transformational path, on the healing path, or those who have been doing meditations and are perhaps more, because again, level of awareness, it depends, right? But like more or less aware. I would say that many of you know that you have been dealing, let's say, with and healing, let's say, from father issues, right? And father wounds, right? Then on the other hand, you know that whatever was manifesting in your life was something around the male in your life, right? And I'm saying because obviously this can be speaking to females and to males, right? So if you are a man or a woman who watches the video, please take it the way I say it, because the emperor is always a male. It's one aspect of it is definitely a male, some even more significant male in your life, right? So you I feel like you will know how it applies to you, right? Yeah. And so this is one aspect of it. The second aspect, it could be also, so this is like the power center. This is the power center, so it can be also your own. So if you are a woman or a man, again, but it can be how you deal with your own power and your own masculine side of you, right? And then so again, probably it will be different for different people, but for some of you, I feel like you are more aware of it, and I think this year will bring you more clarity. But also, I would suggest continue, as I said it, continue to observe, continue with your observations, contemplations, and meditation, because you may notice, it comes like you may notice interesting situations, but you may notice interesting, maybe even feelings or sensations inside of you around power, and also around, so the masculine, so the third not third eye, sorry, this is your solar plexus, this is a third chakra. I wanted to say third eye, I don't know why, but so third eye is your intuition, right? So I already said it, but so perhaps also listen to your intuition, but you will probably be able to observe and notice also maybe, let's say, interesting aspects about you and how you can actually take your power, how you can feel stronger and regain the power to feel better about something and about yourself as well, right? That may also relate, for example, to self-confidence or confidence issues and things like that. And I think so this is so these are those two messages. And I think the third message, okay, so with the male, so for those who have been healing and know the path of healing, this can be, for me, this card can be a card of a narcissist or narcissistic abuse in relationships also stemming from the past, maybe some of your parents. So I would suggest that maybe even you may have had also a mother who was very narcissistic. So this is another message for you guys. But again, I feel like this is for people who are more aware and have been healing and know about it. Or for those people who are new to it, something may come up that will be very clear that someone is a narcissist, and the guidance would be to seek, let's say, maybe some psychological help, right? Or maybe watch videos and read. There are lots of people who actually talk about narcissistic abuse and how to heal from it. And the third, so these messages, and I feel like the last aspect, so I think I've already mentioned that, is also about you to kind of regain your power, feel good, and be the center. So how you are in the center, you create your own life, right? So you are in the center and you have the power. And perhaps also during the year you will be able maybe to understand the rise above some maybe issues, to understand that actually I can co-create it or I can recreate it from the past, right? So if there was an issue in the past, like I feel like you will be feeling better about it, that you will know at least, or you will be receiving guidance that now you can definitely step forward and perhaps recreate it for your, let's say, best and for your highest good, right? So again, not to give the power away. All right, I think, okay, let me just leave the message. So the second card, which is a bit like at the center, you've got Ace of, so this first Ace of Air, which is like Ace of Swords, and you've got the Queen of Air, and they came together, and I feel like there's quite, and they came actually with the Sun card, and the Sun card is also a beautiful positive card, right? But straight away, what I was saying, during the year, while obviously the power issues, like you probably will continue to work with that, right? And again, for those who are a little bit less aware, you may encounter situations which will, let's say, call or even require you to do something about it, right? And also to go into healing perhaps, or find the right psychological or a healing or a therapeutic help. And for those obviously who have been healing, you probably may continue, you may actually have also this aspect of ascension, that you will be able actually to rise above some issues as well. So it may be a little bit different, but the Ace of Air is, to me, a clarity in your mind. So you will have at some point, like you will be very clear, or you will have like kind of like a sharp, clear, let's say, feeling in your mind, or like even a thought, right, in your mind, which like it will be like instant almost decision, right? You will know, okay, I know this is wrong, or I know this is right, or I know this is how it is for me, and this is how I want to act now, right? So, and again, so coming back that in the past you may have acted differently, but this is, yeah, but in this year you will have perhaps even on a number of occasions you will have an aspect like of a, it's not even a, it could be a sudden, but it's, I feel like it's more of an like an awakening, but an awakening that takes you higher on the level of your understanding, and also higher, so as I mentioned, like an ascension, right? It means that you are rising up, your consciousness is rising up to a new level of awareness as well. And you will anyway, so the main point is that you will simply know, you will know that this is, for example, right for you, right? As opposed to what happened in the past. And the Queen of Air, so the Queen of Air is just this, is, I feel like it's just a confirmation. It's a feminine aspect. So perhaps, okay, so very often, on at least on this depiction, let me just show you, she's got, first of all, like a crystal ball, and the crystal ball does talk a lot also about it. You are able to see clearly, and perhaps you are also able, so some of you may actually be already a psychic or may have a strong intuition, and maybe, and perhaps you will also be learning about it during that year, during 2023. So the crystal ball does represent the fact that you can see clearly, and you will continue to perhaps develop the clear seeing, and also seeing clearly into the future. This is how it comes to me, to let you know, guys. And this woman, that's what I wanted to show you. Like, very often I see she has obviously this, let's say, so the crown, but she has something right around her head, which is, and it highlights the third eye chakra. But actually I feel like the angels are stopping me and telling me that the third eye chakra here, it's not maybe as important, but it's perhaps important, this kind of quality of the mind and the clarity that will continue to come to you. And they are just showing actually me that this crystal ball, it's, yeah, so there's like, so there's obviously a mental component. So that's okay. So this is what they're correcting me a little bit, or they're saying that this is more about mental component. But this, for example, crystal ball will also come from the knowledge that you are gaining. So either, and something strongly, books are coming up very strongly, books or like audiobooks, right? So maybe listening to podcasts, but I feel like books and audiobooks are coming up very strongly. So either books that you read or books, audiobooks that you can listen to them. And they will obviously be, they will help you perhaps to regain some aspect of knowledge, or to gain a new knowledge. And this knowledge also is going to bring you more clarity, yeah, more clarity in situations, let's say, or more clarity for you, so that you can perhaps act differently, right? Yeah, and I think this is the main message. This is, yeah, we've got the Sun card, and the Sun card, I feel, is just a positive, it's just it's kind of like a confirmation, because I always like for me the Sun card is, for example, like the success card, or is the yes card. So sorry guys, so yeah, so I feel like this is only like, I feel like it's like a very uplifting thing. So I would say that with the clarity and the knowledge that you are gaining, you will feel uplifted, and there'll be some positive messages, and perhaps positive situations, or maybe even outcomes happening, right? And then sorry guys. The third position is actually, so I'll show you how it came. It actually came first as those two cards, which is 3 of water and 10 of earth. Yeah, and they came kind of a little bit together. And also, and then kind of a bit like underneath that, I got the 8 of air, right? So this is a bit of a, so I think the first message that I was having, that there is something, so the 10 of, let me just speak about the 10 of earth. Yeah, this is this card, sorry guys. So let me just speak a little bit about that. It came a little bit like there is something also in your environment, and this can be again different. So it could be either in your home environment, but this does pertain to other people also, and it can be in your, I don't know, in your business, in the company. Anyway, it's in your environment that you need to pay attention to, and you probably will be sorting something out as well. And as we've mentioned, the power struggles, right, with others. I do feel also that this is this, so that the message is here that there is some, that this will be, there's some things in the environment that you will need to continue to perhaps resolve for yourself, or sort things out. And it can also be institutions, right, and organizations. So I feel like it's not only people, so anything that is kind of external to you, but anything that you will need to, you know, you will need to perhaps deal with this, or you will need to communicate with them or work on something. And this is also the message, right? So, and this will obviously happen at some stage, or maybe this can also be a process perhaps for some of you guys. But this came also with the 3 of water, and I feel the 3 of water does represent, well, in this deck is actually a little bit like, it's a lot about healing, but I feel like the general message here is that it's also how you connect. It's perhaps it's other people also. It could also be relationships perhaps. it's kind of like close of the heart, but what I mean by it, because it's kind of difficult if you have to deal with an institution, right? And then of course these people will not be, let's say, related to you, so they will not be, let's say, close to you or intimate relationships. But I would suggest that this card is perhaps asking you pay attention to the emotional side of things and pay attention. Yes, I would say pay attention to the heart. So for example, so I'll give you just a quick, if you are dealing with an institution, perhaps pay attention also to how you feel about it, because some institutions can also be, let's say, narcissistic, or they may not have the best processes, right? They may not always, I don't know, value the person or the fact that you may be vulnerable, for example, sometimes. So I would say pay attention to that. And I think that, okay, so I've said that to the, so I think Archangel Michael is saying that that's also a card of healing, kind of dealing with people, but pay attention to emotions and your feelings and what arises, right? So don't perhaps assume that, let's say, I don't know, that these people or this organization is right. Don't assume that, because if you are feeling that something is wrong, that you are being asked to perhaps go into healing of the issue that is rising, but also you are going to, yeah, and also you need to speak up about it, right? So don't be afraid also to speak up about it. And I think maybe that's why we've got the Eight of Air. And Eight of Air, I feel like, okay, so the message also was that you are now freeing yourself from some constrainment, let's say, or some let's say some restrictive aspects from the past, which also is about perhaps people, but also organizations, companies, businesses. So kind of like, let's say, establishments, right? Established, yeah, like organizations in that we have to handle in our lives, right? Whatever that is for you guys. And this card is just telling, even though it's a Knight of Air, but it's telling me it's kind of like you are guys freeing now. You will be able, you are in the process of freeing yourself up from, again, from past patterns and from some past restrictions, maybe confinement, something that maybe you didn't agree with, right? And something that maybe wasn't working for you, but you will be able to perhaps understand it better, you know, apply, as I said, with the Queen of Air, apply the new knowledge, and take your power back, right? Take your power back, as we've said it, and hopefully win at the end. This is how it comes, right? So yeah, I mean, in a positive way, right? And I think, and maybe I feel like the message for you guys is kind of important, because this comes with the card. Let me just, it's the garden and the gate, and this card actually I quite like it. This card is really nice. It's actually showing me 3-0, so I don't know, maybe for some of you, I don't know why I feel that your age, you may be around 30, or maybe you will be turning 30 and there'll be something important for you actually to take your power. It's also a Saturn return, but okay, let me just, I don't know, I was drawn to 3-0, but I don't feel like, so for some of you this may be a message, which is number 30, like you being 30, or maybe when you were 30, something will come up from the past and you will need to refresh your knowledge and redo the lesson. But the garden and the gate, yeah, sorry, I'm just, because sometimes I do get a block as well. I need to feel, but I feel like it's also telling you that you have the key also. And even though you may feel like this gate isn't open yet, right, which means that you cannot perhaps yet leave an aspect or a pattern or a situation, but I feel like during the year you will definitely find your key, you will find your way out. So you'll find a way how to open the gate. Perhaps maybe it will be more subtle, maybe you will find yourself that you will need to act slightly differently. But I will feel that during the year you will be able to open that gate and kind of step forward much more freely than in the past, right? And you will feel better, and that's why this card, and you will be, I feel like you will feel better about yourself and about how you, let's say, how you've acted, and also how you, for example, hold your power and hold your ground as well with regards to, I don't know, perhaps even, I don't know, maybe your boss in the company, right, or any other institution. And that's why this Eight of Air came, I think, just to say that you are in the process of, you are freeing yourself from the past pattern, right? You're freeing yourself, yeah, and you're freeing up from the past and this kind of restriction, let's say, motion, whatever was happening. And you've got the key, right? And you'll be able to open the gate and set yourself free. All right, guys, I'm just thinking that the video is already 24 minutes. Let me just take, because I also wanted, so I think this is the main message that comes for you guys. Let me take, because I wanted, so I've got different oracle cards on the side, and I just wanted to give you like perhaps a couple of closing messages or a couple of messages which can also be important for you. So let me just, okay, let me take, all right, I've got 2 decks, I think, and I think I will draw. So I've got this deck is actually by, this is Angel Guide. This is, sorry, the Angel Guide deck by Kyle Gray. Okay, so let me ask for my water signs, please. Can I have a message for 2023? Okay, so you've got, so we are going a little bit spiritual. So you've got a message which is, and these messages are maybe a little bit more random, but I feel like they're important for you to know. This one is called Holy Love. I would say the way I feel about it, it's, I think for, so I felt, I said it already, that I feel like we're going spiritual now, right? And I believe that most of you are spiritually aware already at some point. Otherwise, you wouldn't be perhaps watching this kind of videos, right? I think there's something about the love, like a divine love in your life, right? But I do feel it's kind of like the love of from God, let's say, from spirit, from the universe. So it's more like a universal love that maybe you want to. That's why it's called holy love, right? That you perhaps by doing your own spiritual practice, you may want to get in touch with, right? And just to feel, I would say, just to also feel supported. Yeah, so just remember that God, if I can use, I know that some people, but let me use God or spirit. You can call it spirit, you can even call it universe, right? Or the angels, if you're connecting with your spirit guides. Remember, darling, that there is always, that they love you very much, right? That you are loved and you will always be loved. So no matter what is happening, and again, of course, there may be some challenges and there will be some uncomfortable situations, but you are being perhaps also asked to kind of connect or reconnect with the divine love. So connect with the divine in the way that you either have been connecting in the past. Again, most of you probably have already some aspect of spiritual practice, and you are being asked, I feel like even Archangel Michael is saying, to connect with the divine and with the divine love, so that you can feel, let's say, supported first of all, right? And you can feel valued as well, right? And then Michael is saying, Archangel Michael, that you'll be able to receive, do the practice. You have to do some practice to connect with this, right? Take a moment, take 5-10 minutes, but you'll be able also to receive clear guidance, right? So maybe it's like this queen also, so this is right, she has some clarity of the mind, and you will be able to receive, but it's also for your support, guys. It's a beautiful message. And let me take, and this is actually and let me take one more card. That's a numerology deck by, I think, Michelle, yeah, Buchanan. For water signs. Okay, I feel like I need to take another card for you guys. Yeah, these are very interesting cards. Okay, so yeah, maybe that's why it comes. You see, so it comes. Okay, first one is this one. Sorry, guys, it's karmic completion, number 10, and then the second one is self-love, 61. Let me just, I feel like I just want to interpret it like for you rather than, but even though number 10 is usually about completions and endings, but it does come to do with self-love. And I think that so many of you will be experiencing during the year an aspect of completion or an end, and that's an ending to either a difficult situation in your life, which perhaps may have been going on for a long time, and for some of you it may have been years. I don't know how many, but you will know, guys, or maybe even months, but something that perhaps was kind of difficult, because karmic, obviously karmic, it does say, but this also means that you had to learn the lesson, right? You had to learn the lesson perhaps from a past life as well. You had to learn the lesson maybe from a childhood, if that makes sense, right? So again, as I said, I feel like I'm speaking, many of you have been already on a healing path and transformation as well. So in this case, this is a positive sign. It's karmic completion. I feel like it's a bit of a process, but it's not one point in time, but I feel like for some of you, you may recognize it where you will either feel it and you will know that, and even it will manifest as an end, right? Or it will be just, okay, that's done now, and I can, let's say, close that off and I can move on, right? Also, because it's a karmic completion, I would say there are some unfinished lessons to be learned, right? So just pay attention to that. And then, yeah, pay attention to that. And for most of you, you'll be able, so these are lessons around power, right? And how you take the power back in relationships or with organizations, let's say, within maybe institutions, around organizations. So yeah, I would say the message is pay attention to, there will be some unfinished lessons, so pay attention, but you will have the clarity of the mind, and you will be able to complete the cycle, let's say, also, and learn the lesson. For some of you, once and for all, I would say, right? Maybe not for all, but I feel that the basis for it is self-love, right? So maybe that's why we've talked about the holy love, so connecting with the divine, specifically for yourself, and to feel supported and to feel loved by the divine. And I'm hearing, well, the angels are always there for you, and they are beautiful. Like, I connect with them, and they really give me a lot of, good vibrations as well, right? And positive I love. And the self-love, so that's why the self-love, I feel, is just a confirmation also for you guys that the basis also for these lessons is about loving yourself first, right? Self-love and self-care. This is I feel like that's very important for you guys. All right, I think I will finish here, and I will, and I will finish here, and I will hopefully see you. So I'm going to now post, so there'll be 3 separate messages, or like smaller readings for all the 3 water signs, so for Cancer, Scorpio, and for Pisces. So I will see you in a moment, guys, in one of those readings. All right. Hello, beautiful Cancer. So this will be your portion of the reading. For it's a yearly reading, or it's is a reading for the year 2023. And please, and this is as I've just explained in the first video, which is the general message for all water signs. So please listen to that, because I just don't want to repeat myself, right? So again, just this is also a general reading, but it's a more specific to people, yeah, for Cancer. And you can listen, perhaps I will just add that you can listen obviously to this if Cancer is if it's your ascendant, sun sign, your moon sign, but also you can listen, I've already explained a little bit in the previous video, that you can listen perhaps to it if you are intuitively drawn to the message, to perhaps to the video, right? Or for a placement. So if you know, for example, where Cancer, let's say, is placed, is as a placement on your chart. Yeah, and I think I will stop here. So again, I've already explained that this is specific for Cancer. We will start also, so I also have 3 cards, so it's the same setup, let's say, or the setting for this reading. I've got 3 tarot cards and 3 kind of like, let's say, 3 oracle, let's say, clarifiers card. And let me start from, so perhaps coming back to the main theme about taking your power back and understanding, perhaps when you like how you take your power back, or how you give it away. So for you Cancers, perhaps let me also tell you, you've got 2 aces. So you've got Ace of Fire, and you've got also Ace of Earth, so Ace of Pentacles. And I would say actually that this gives me like a vibe that there's an aspect of new beginning, perhaps starting something afresh, or starting something anew. But I would say, I don't know, I feel like for some of you, you may be happy because it's kind of like a longer awaited, like it definitely is a fresh start, or some aspects of beginnings, right? And you beginning, and again, it can be different. So I don't know if I want to, perhaps the message is coming that you perhaps beginning something new for yourself, perhaps starting up a new career path, maybe starting up something like a perhaps research for a new home, and things like that. And I feel like that's quite prominent, and I think again it will be prominent, so it's like throughout the year, right? Again, different for different people, if that makes sense, right? But it will, I feel like there's probably more than one beginning or a fresh start during the year that will come up. And I feel like for many of you guys, you will be very happy that, as if it feels like it's a longer awaited thing, or it's something that you perhaps waited for a long time for, or even waiting until you had, let's say, a green light, perhaps from spirit, to start something up, right? Or perhaps even like a new beginning within a venture, perhaps, or maybe like a career path that you've already perhaps started, or you have already been preparing for. But it will kind of kick you off into onto the right path, I would say. This is how it's coming, right? And actually the first card is also, I would say, so with this very positive, it's Ace of Fire. Fire is action, energy, movement forward. And I think this is, I feel like, yeah, the angels are saying that's a confirmation, guys, that there is definitely this energy will be prominent and will be present throughout the year, right? And you will be prompted, you will know when to take action, and you'll be prompted also to perhaps maybe take more action than in the past for a variety of reasons. I just wanted to add, because it does feel like for many of you, maybe you have been also on the path of healing, or you have been healing a lot, right? Maybe doing therapy work, and this was perhaps stopping you from, perhaps first of all, ending or completion. Okay, this was probably stopping you perhaps from taking action, or even starting, or something new, or let's say moving forward towards something new that you wanted for a long time, but kind of you were a little bit, let's say, pushed backwards because, let's say, your healing and transformation work. But remember, darling, that everything happens. I said darling, sometimes I do say it because the angels call me darling. Remember, guys, that everything happens for a reason, right? And just, I would say, forgive yourself that it has taken perhaps longer or long time, right? But this comes also with a beautiful card, Angel of Balance. And I would say, while this is like a positive energy, positive movement forward, positive action, right? and you will feel it. You perhaps may feel even like required, or you may feel like urged to do something, right? And you will want to do it. But the request, I feel like the guidance is here. Remember to take action, or you remember to do things in a balanced way, right? To keep your balance. And one thing I wanted, sorry, to say also, I'm actually a Cancer myself, and Cancers are usually very sensitive and perhaps driven a lot by emotions. So obviously it depends, because if it's your ascendant, you will be similar. With the moon, you also will feel very deeply. I would suggest that and therefore, because of your, I would say, because of your sensitivity, and because you are driven, so your main, or one of the main aspects is emotions, right? The way how you feel, and how even sometimes you take decisions, perhaps, right? So just a reminder, and just like a request even from the angels and the guidance, that just make sure that you are always, that first of all, that your balance is important, and take action in a balanced way. So just, for example, don't overdo it, don't rush with anything. Maybe slow and steady wins the race. It's also part of, I feel like, because I've been talking to the agents about themes, I think it's a general theme for some people, at least for a collective, that slow and steady wins the race also this year. So yeah, I've said, don't rush it, don't go too far, too fast, perhaps, because there's no point. Make sure that you are in balance, and also you take action towards whatever you want in a balanced way. Okay. Then the second card, and I feel it actually represents you, it's a Page of Fire. So that's perhaps, it's another, so it's also you taking action, right? Pages, remember that pages are still like, let's say, students. They're kind of like youngsters, right? So you probably have quite a lot to learn, but I would say it's just learning, perhaps, sorry guys, how to take positive action, positive movement forward, but in a balanced way. And also, I would say, making sure that you protect yourself also, right? So you balance, so make sure that you are balanced as well, right? You balance your emotions, you balance your your way of, let's say, your being, your state of, let's say, well-being as well, right? And your health as well. So again, without overdoing, yeah, they say without getting too excited, but it's not, it's just balancing your emotions, right? So definitely, yeah, a positive movement forward. It's you, Page of Fire, a bit of like a student, continue to learn about, I think you're learning a lot about yourself. This comes with the Power card, right, with the third chakra. And the third chakra is, it comes with Archangel Chamuel. I feel like Archangel Chamuel, okay, there's probably a small message from Archangel Chamuel, guys, as well, but this is the solar plexus chakra, right? So we talked about, so in the general message, I talked quite a bit about power and taking the power back, and so I'm not going to repeat it, right? But this, and also, so this is again, you, I see you being a bit of a student, and also learning how you take action, how you want to move forward on things, but making sure that you protect yourself as well, right? That you are in balance and you protect your power. So perhaps, again, I mentioned a lot of perhaps observations around how you, again, how you give your power away, or how you receive power from people, or how you can take the power back as well, right? So do your work. So yeah, do your work, and perhaps continue to be a bit like be curious. Yeah, have like a beginner's mind, right? Be curious about new things, perhaps also, and maybe don't rush with anything. All right, I would just say. And this actually comes. So that's perhaps that's a good perhaps confirmation. I said don't rush, and slow and steady wins the race, because you have another ace here. Sorry guys, I feel like when I speak also too fast, you see, so I have this aspect. So maybe also make sure that you balance yourself when you speak, maybe for some of you. Ace of Earth, I feel like it's, yeah, it's just what I've said. It's a new beginning. It's also a manifestation. So you will be taking action in a balanced way, observing what you want to do and how you do it, as let's say. And this is also manifestation. So obviously your actions will begin to manifest into, I would say, positive results, right? And positive, yeah. I think positive results, this is how I want to put it. But it did come with a card called Action, number 17. Let me come back, which came in reverse. But I feel like this is, again, there's nothing probably wrong with that or negative. I feel like it's just a reminder for you guys, perhaps how you take action. And again, there are many things about it, right? So continue, please, to perhaps your inner work, like observe how to do it, how you take action. I don't know how fast you act, how slow you act, or perhaps, again, how you balance yourself and your emotions, and how you understand when to take action, and I would say when not to take action as well, right? So this is just a reminder that please continue. So this is this kind of, so I would say you being a Page of Fire, like a student, I think you will be learning a lot about it, right? And don't, I would say, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Don't be afraid of failures. This is how it comes, right? Because you can always correct it, right? It's smaller. I don't think that it's like a big, I don't think that you will fail. I don't think that this is a big, there's nothing big really that I need to warn you about. There's nothing big like in your life, right? Not a big failure, but we do take action, right? And sometimes we have to learn, because sometimes even when we speak, sometimes we speak too much. We may say something that we then regret a little bit, but I would suggest don't be afraid of that. You can always correct it, and remember that this is part of your learning, also how you act, or again, or maybe when not to act. But perhaps when you don't act, the power is also when you retreat yourself and you do, for example, your spiritual practice like meditation, so connecting with the divine, right? Yeah, and I think the Ace of Earth is just like, it's a positive beginning, it's a supportive message to what I've said, taking action and manifesting, starting perhaps manifesting new things, sorry, or continue situations, right, or continue to manifest something that you've already started in the past, right? All right, guys, because I want to I want to keep these messages fairly, maybe shorter than the big message was fairly long. So let me take, I think Archangel Raphael, so I'm going to take perhaps two or three different oracle cards, just to give you just extra, perhaps more random messages. Archangel Raphael, okay, and I feel like for you guys also, and I have the numerology deck. Yeah, so let me just start with this, right? Archangel Raphael, so for those, okay, let me just take the card for you guys. Yeah, and he's telling me, okay, let me just take one more card for you guys. Yeah. Okay. So Archangel, yeah, I think I want to start with that because it's more random, right? So Archangel Raphael gave me 3 cards. And also Archangel Raphael, for those who don't know, guys, I need to go back because I think Archangel Shamuel, I just want to go back because I said Archangel Shamuel with the 3rd chakra, right, had some message for you. And I feel, because Archangel Shamuel is the archangel who helps you, let's say, with finding something, or with finding a new path, or finding perhaps whatever you've lost or whatever you are looking for. And so Archangel Shamuel, I feel like it's just telling me to remind you or to let you know that you can work with Archangel Shamuel in terms of, perhaps maybe clear directions, or something that you perhaps, again, if you're looking for something, searching for something, even searching for answers, but maybe searching for, I don't know, even a new home for yourself, right? Or maybe searching for a new partner, right? Then please work and ask Archangel Shamuel to help you with that. And you may also want to research if that's the first time, because archangels have slightly also more qualities, right? So please also research about Archangel Shamuel, and you are very much requested and invited to connect with him or her. Just a note that archangels can be seen in a female or male form. It really doesn't matter, right? That's why I say with him or her, the way it comes to you. And now, let me stop. Archangel Raphael is telling, so Archangel Raphael is he's the archangel of healing. I feel probably many of you guys, okay, let me just hear whatever he wants me to say. Okay, he wants me, okay, let me just clarify, shorten the message. He just wants me to say that he would like you to be encouraged to either continue or find the right healing methods in your life and to do the healing work. That's what he says. And he's also there to support you and to protect you and to answer any questions. So Archangel Raphael is also there for you. And for those, he's telling me not to explain anything, because many of you, it's just about healing in general, right? In general. And he gave me the messages. So the first message came, do more research. And these cards do relate to a healing, on its own, right? A healing process, a healing path. Also methods, therapeutic methods, energy healing, for example, psychological healing, counseling, psychotherapy, various aspects, right, of healing work. So the first message from him is do more research. So it feels like you probably will be confused, or you may need to inquire, right? He's reminding you, connect with me if you want or if you wish, but you invite it. Do your meditation and also do your research. So normal general, in order to know which way to go and perhaps what therapy method to choose, right? To choose from, or to choose which is best for you. Then you are being advised to have faith. And I feel like this is also a message that you need to have faith. You need to believe in the therapy method and in the therapy that you've been using or you use. So don't lose faith, I would say. If you've had doubts or something that didn't work, then maybe that's why Raphael is saying, Archangel, do more research, and you can remember that you can actually also change the therapy method, right? But you have to have faith. Have faith in the divine, in the spirit, and have faith in your healing process, that you can heal And you need to also have faith in the therapy method that you choose, all right? Because it will help you. You need to kind of believe it a bit, right? Don't deny it in a way, because you don't want to work against yourself, if that makes sense. And the third card is alternative medicine. So I guess hopefully that's obvious. So alternative medicine, as I've mentioned, various aspects. So maybe for some of you, if you, let's say, have some physical illness or something happens, because it may be smaller or bigger, then you are being requested and you're being guided to definitely also use alternative medicine, right? So while I was already talking about therapeutic methods like energy healing, right, and psychological methods, but here I feel like there's also a message that if you have a physical, but it can be a smaller physical ailment, right? It can be even the flu, even, well, I don't know, maybe hopefully not you catch COVID or some virus, right? Remember that maybe don't go straight into, like, I don't know, taking antibiotics, or not. I would suggest that the suggestion is go to alternative medicine, right? Don't perhaps try not to rely so much on traditional medicine, right, and medications, because they can bring side effects and things like that. Anyway, I would suggest Archangel Raphael is just reminding you, for some of you, and telling you, most of you also, that even if you have a physical ailment or illness, it can also be cured and healed. It takes a little longer, but by using alternative medicine. And also he says, yes, of course, by using, for example, energy healing like Reiki, and other different types of energy healing, or or for example psychological work as well. All right. And let me take, yes, this is when, and this will be just one more card for Cancers, please. For this will be from the numerology deck. Okay, let me just change. Okay, that's actually quite nice. So you have a card. Oh, my camera doesn't, it's actually really nice. It's like a turquoise. It's more blue through my camera, but the real color is more like turquoise blue, or turquoise actually. And it's number 5, change. So I think the message is that there will be some changes through the year, bigger or smaller. I don't think, again, I wouldn't say that it's a process of change, I would say. So some of you are after perhaps deeper transformations as well. So message for some of you. And I just wanted to say, maybe be aware of change, right? Maybe learning about how you change as well. I think that it's a little bit smaller. It's a process of change. It's perhaps also how you change and how you notice that you have changed, right? And also your circumstances will change. But I don't think that that's like a big message that expect change. It's about you observing change, understanding change, perhaps learning also about change. And maybe understanding that change is perhaps also is like a prominent part of your life and of our lives in general, right? So that you may feel perhaps more comfortable with that as well, right? And I think that's all I probably want to say for you guys. All right. So I think this is this is it from me. Please do, my dear Cancers, please do like, share, or subscribe. I will be very grateful for that if you enjoyed the video, and I hope you did enjoy the video. I hope it brought you positive and helpful messages. And and I'm wishing you all the best for the whole year, and I hope to see you soon on my future videos. Take care of yourselves. Bye. Hello, beautiful Scorpio. This will be this will be a reading and a continuation of the reading that started the whole video for you guys, for Scorpio, for the whole year, or for the year for the year 2023. As I've mentioned, I've already, so that's a separate specific video and messages for 2023 for Scorpio. For the sign of Scorpio, it will apply to you if Scorpio, sorry guys, if Scorpio is your ascendant sign, your moon sign, or your sun sign as well. It will also apply to you. So for example, if you are, I've already explained more in the main first video, if you are intuitively drawn to this video, this means that there is a message in there. And also, if you know, let's say, placements in your chart, in your birth chart, where you have Scorpio, then this message will perhaps apply to this, let's say, specific area in your life and in your chart. And I wanted, so as I've already said, there is a message, perhaps listen. So at the beginning of the big video, there is a message, a general message for all water signs. And the suggestion is, please continue, like, if you can perhaps watch it and listen to it first, because I think there is an important message as an umbrella, let's say, message for all the signs. And this message will be specific for Scorpio, right? To give you extra messages and a continuation of the general message, and just to give you a specific message what to perhaps expect, or perhaps how to deal with certain things. All right. So let's go ahead and get started. Yeah, I think I will start. So I've got also three tarot cards. So I've got three tarot cards and three oracle cards as clarifiers. And I will also at the end, I will just pull a couple of two different oracle cards just to give you some extra guidance and extra messages. I would suggest, I just wanted, because usually I try to give you like a bit of a theme or what I see. I think coming back to the fact that the main message was about learning, like taking your power back and reclaiming your power as a process for the year and through the year. I feel like for you guys, because your center card that comes to you straight away is actually, okay, let me just show you, it's Eight of Air. And that's where you, okay, so this is where you may have felt powerless. Yeah, let me just, sorry, I just wanted to give you an overview. So wherever, so you will be learning also, and perhaps step by step you will be regaining your power. You will be learning, or you'll be becoming more aware where you've been disempowered, let's say, or feeling powerless, and how you can retrieve yourself. So how you can retrieve, let's say, this part of you or this part of your life, take your power back perhaps, right, and continue forward, let's say, in a more free state of yourself. Yeah, and of it's and a more free state of life as well. This is how it comes. All right, but let me stay. And there's also kind of a couple of cards about balance. So I think there's also a big message about, remember that it's all about the balance. So there's a lot about the balance for you, and just to remember to, just to perhaps that balance is very important in your life, right? And how to perhaps bring back yourself and things to balance in your life as well. But let me just start with the specific messages. So your first card is actually King of Fire, and it comes with the woman holding a coin, but this card came up reversed. I would say that this actually does relate to, I feel like relationships probably have been an issue in the past. So reclaiming, regaining your power, or how you give and receive power, where you feel, or okay, whatever you felt. So for you, powerless in relationships, right? For various reasons, you may have been also hurt perhaps, but with this, I think this all started already in the past. It's a bit like a past, but it will continue to perhaps play out and maybe teach you some lessons in the whole, like, during the year. The woman, the woman holding a coin, the message from here was that it's probably you having some some issues with your finances, and it may be okay. The way it comes up to me, it's perhaps how it's the issue is about perhaps how you handle your finances. So dealing, for example, with debt, or dealing, for example, with investments or with your income, but it's also how you earn the money and how much perhaps you can increase your earnings by doing various other things, right? So I feel like many of you have already been perhaps learning a lot about yourself, and also perhaps trying, I don't know, maybe to set up a new business, or maybe set up something to give you passive income, right, and things like that. So I think so there has been, it feels like there has already been learning, quite a lot of learning in the past about how you handle the finances, and how perhaps how you increase your income, or and finding ways or how you can increase your income by looking into perhaps doing different things, right? Or maybe setting up a different business on the side, or maybe just changing your career totally and just become self-employed, right? And having your own business, and then you are more in your power and in charge, in charge. So that's coming back to your power center, right? Of your own income. And it depends, and it is up to you how much you can scale the income, right? And you can perhaps scale it more than if you were working for a company, right, for example. But this card also comes as a King of Fire. So let me just tune in. I think there is a part of you, so the King of Fire is part of you, I feel, who it's like the King of Fire is like the passionate, is like the go-getting, is like the go kind of, a little bit like passionate, taking action and go kind of card, and a quality of a person. But it's a king. So king, I would say, well, it's a masculine, right? But I think it's more about the way, like, it's your own, I think I lost a good word. Anyway, it's kind of like the part of you, right? And it's the masculine part of you, right? And it's the part of you that perhaps is still learning. Okay, this is, while it feels like it's a mature part of you, but on the other hand, I don't know, there is a bit of a shadow that comes with that card. This is how I'm feeling for you. So perhaps you do need to, maybe you need to either let go. So anyway, you need to perhaps either transform something, or you need to become more aware of something, right? Even though you felt maybe, so I think the mature part of you, of how you take action or how you handle your finances, is definitely going to come up and play up. And maybe this is a good, but I feel like there is a need for you, for you kind of to, for you to like, for you to change up something, right? So to change something, perhaps the way you do things. And maybe don't also assume that just because you felt that you were good at something, so even though the maturity comes here through and it's a positive thing, but I would suggest be more flexible, right? Don't assume that, oh, just because I know I was good at it, like I will continue to be good. You will be good at it, but you are being requested to be a little bit more open-minded and flexible in terms of understanding how you can even maybe even improve perhaps this aspect of your own maturity, right? Or maybe some other aspects, because I feel like it does come with the shadow aspect, right? And it may be different. So yeah, with the shadow, which means that you will be also learning about how you take action, and it's a lot about finances as well, I would say. And the second card is what I've already said, guys. The Eight of Air card, and this comes actually with the Angel of Balance. That's why I've already mentioned. And you do have the Temperance card as the last card. I'll show you in a minute. It's a confirmation that balance is very important for you during the year, and knowing how to operate in balance, and how to, for example, operate your finances, or perhaps operate your business, let's say, like, or your actions in a balanced way is very important. And you may need to learn something, maybe even some harder or harsh lessons, yeah, in order to actually bring more balance to your life and be more happy, I would say, right? And with this card, so this card does pertain to the fact, again, where you have felt or where you feel powerless, and how do you take your power back, and how do you, let's say, learn about, let's say, your actions or your ways of taking your power, or how you can retrieve yourself in a certain way, right? I would say for those who are on a healing path or have been healing a lot, I would say continue with your healing methods, because they help you with centering yourself, grounding and centering, and bringing your power inside of you, and then they bring you clarity, right? So the main, please listen to the general message. We talked a lot about clarity in the mind. So again, do your practice, do your healing work, which kind of will show you how you can center your energy and bring back kind of like to this, bring back your power, but to inside of you, right? So that you can feel better about yourself, right? And then you can be even a little bit more gentle in your action. Yeah, so it's coming out, and this is obviously because the Eight of Air is very often like the restrictive card where you feel again that you couldn't move forward. So any healing work and any balancing work, so this could also be chakra balancing. So I would say that it comes strongly for you guys just to do healing work, or do an aspect of an inner or shadow work, which will help you to balance yourself, balance your emotions. And chakra balancing is coming up actually clearly and strongly for you guys, as just, you know, as my channeling from the angels, right? Which may very well help you with, so chakra balancing can actually help you, and chakra work in general can help you with balancing yourself. But then our chakras represent, let's say, issues in our lives as well, right? So if you've had issues with finances, it would be, for example, first chakra. But I feel also for you there's an importance on your power on your third chakra as well. All right, so for those, so I think this is the message. And the last message is actually the balance. So this is the Temperance card. I feel like it's a very positive, and this comes actually with the indecision. But I would suggest, I think I've already spoken a bit about it. Temperance card, I feel like there is a lot more opportunity for you, and there is some supportive energy that supports your balance and supports, I would say, it feels to me like a balanced action, or more balance in your life, right? So with whatever you do, you will feel like that, even, let's say, if you run your business, or I don't know, even if you go to work and work for a company, you will feel like that things are happening maybe slightly more in a balanced way, right? That there's no like extremes perhaps, or there's no like some drawbacks or some, I don't know, blockages, and then it takes, I don't know, forever to resolve, right? So I feel like more balance is coming to your life, and there will be also more opportunities to see and to perhaps kind of like not instigate, but bring back or bring about the balance to your life and to your activities, right? And this also, I would say, relates to your decisions. So this is the card of indecision, number 8. But I would say that you need to make your decisions more in a balanced way, right? So whenever you feel, if you feel stuck, or at least I think the main message is about the balance and how you make your decisions. And the more you find the balance inside of you first, right? So through your inner work, and then perhaps you notice, or you find the balance, or you'll be able to balance your activities in life, you also will be able to make better decisions, and perhaps come out of this state of, like, let's say, of hesitations or not knowing which way to go. So the indecision state, right? So the more balance you bring back to yourself and to your life, it will help you to make better, or to come out of the state of the indecision, I would say. All right, guys, and I've got and now I've got 2 oracle decks. The first one is actually animal, spirit, animal, spirit. oracle deck by Colette Baron Reed. So I think just the message, I'm just checking the time. I would say that probably because like I was drawn to this deck already before your reading. So for those of you who have animals, pets, I would suggest it's all about connecting with them and perhaps trusting them and knowing that animals can be powerful, let's say spirit guides, right? And they can send you, yeah, they can send you powerful messages as well. So pay attention. If you have your pet, perhaps maybe, you know, just try to communicate with your pet or maybe learn how to communicate. But let me just see what are the messages. I think I have for, what are the messages for Scorpio? Yeah, so you've got electric. The first message is electric eel spirit or eel. Yeah, sorry if my pronunciation is not the best. I don't, you know, I myself, I love animals, but to be very honest, you know, these are the cards and I try to tell you the messages. I don't know all the, like, I'm working with some animals definitely, but this one says, bring your ideas to life. And I am drawn to also the blue color and the water. So I kind of feel like it relates to your emotions and perhaps, yeah, and but it does says bring your ideas to life. So we were talking about how you take action and bringing balance, but I think this tells me that you are being encouraged to listen to your emotions and your feelings and act on them. So whatever is your idea, which is also based on how you feel about something, trust it. And this card says bring your ideas to life, right? So try to bring them. So trust it, trust that this is the right decision or the right way to go. It's coming back. Remember that we talked a lot about clarity in the mind in the general message, right? Yeah, and I feel like, but this is, I feel like trust your emotions and your feelings. And once you have the clarity on that this means that your idea is the right idea and you can, you know, take action to bring it to life. Okay. And then the second one is the cow spirit. So miracles, so this is miracles are endless. This is what it says. I would say the cow spirit is also about abundance. Cow is very often a representation of abundance, even and material also. Financial abundance, it probably just reminds me that we talked about you dealing with finances and perhaps learning ways how to increase your income, for example, or how to balance your debt as well, right? Yeah, and I feel like the cow spirit is actually telling you that you have all it takes to understand more perhaps about your own abundance and how you perhaps kind of draw or attract abundance to your life. And I feel like it's a positive message and affirmation that if you are looking, let's say, for a new income stream or how to increase your income or perhaps even change your career, then it's a very, very positive affirmation that you will definitely be able to do that, right? There'll be opportunities, I feel like there's a supportive energy throughout the year for you to increase your abundance, but also understand more about abundance and abundant life in general, right? So that's also about feeling, for example, abundant, right? And also having enough based on how you feel, right? So it doesn't mean that you have to be a millionaire, for example. All right. And let me just take, and I've got another oracle card. So this is Moonology. This is a Moonology deck for Scorpio, please. Yes. Be real. Okay, so I feel like this, actually, let me just take one more. Okay, there's one more message for you guys. And detoxify. Okay, so the first message, this is a Moonology card, right? So it does talk sometimes. So let me just, so the first card is be real. And I felt like it actually made me laugh, but I feel like be real. So maybe I would say be real with yourself, right? And don't be afraid to be real with the others. And I would say don't walk so much perhaps with your head in the clouds, which means that maybe you have a lot of, because Scorpius, you are a water sign, you may have I don't know, big imagination, right? You may have, I don't know, wonderful dreams, and I'm like at night, for example. But I would say that also, I would say that's an encouragement for you to just be real about it as well. Be real that if you are dreaming about something, that you can bring it to, let's say, fruition or to manifestation into your physical life. And this is the card full moon in Aquarius. I just wanted to mention that maybe Aquarius is somehow important. Maybe listen to an Aquarius message for the year, or so Aquarius seems to be, or maybe it relates to your other signs as well. And then the second message with the full moon in Aquarius. So for some of you, when there is a full moon in Aquarius, which probably is somewhere in the early February, I believe. No, sorry, this will be more because we will be, the sun will be in Aquarius. The full moon in Aquarius, I think it will be somewhere in August probably, right? Anyway, the time of full moon in Aquarius, there may be also some, you know, maybe there'll be some opportunities to kind of, maybe this be real card, either to understand how you can bring something to fruition or how you can be real about something that even you are feeling, right? And just not to be, let's say, afraid even to speak about it or something like that, right? But take it also, be real. I feel like take it the way it comes to you. Take it with your feelings, right? The way I explain a little bit and the way you feel. This card speaks to you. And the other card is detoxify. So perhaps just remember, we talked a lot about the balance, right? And I was saying that remember that it's very important for you to take action and to bring balance to yourself and to your life. And I feel like detoxify is just a message also to remember that sometimes in order to bring balance, even maybe to your body, sometimes you just need to detoxify, right? Sometimes you need to detoxify your emotions also to bring your state, like you to bring yourself to a balanced state, right? So just a confirmation. Yeah. And I feel like I will just leave those messages the way they are. I feel like the Moonology deck sometimes just gives me the message for you and just asks you also to just intuit the message for yourself. All right, guys. All right. Thank you very much for watching the video, and please do hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, or you can share it with your friends. I'll be very grateful for that. I'm wishing you all the best for the whole year 2023, and I'm hoping to see you more often on my future videos. Yes, take care of yourselves. Bye. Hello, beautiful Pisces. This will be a reading, so this is a continuation to my general reading for all water signs for the whole year 2023. So that's a yearly, let's say, messages that will apply at some stages throughout the year 2023. As I said, that's a specific message, specific portion of the whole video for Pisces. And if you have, obviously, if you have Pisces as your ascendant sign, as your sun sign, or your moon sign, you can also, I already mentioned, so please listen in the general domain portion, the first video, the longer one, which is a general message for all water signs, right? So Pisces for you guys, and also for Scorpio and Cancer. And I've already mentioned how to perhaps listen to these videos, which means that you can also, it will apply, of course, if you have your moon or your sun in Pisces, but also for any other placements where you have Pisces in your chart. But you can also listen to this message if you feel perhaps you may not know your chart perhaps very well, or you may not know your chart fully, but you may be intuitively drawn perhaps to listen to your Pisces, to the Pisces video, even though perhaps you may be a Scorpio sun, right? Or yeah, or you don't have Pisces in the main three signs, sun, moon, and rising. Yeah, so I think that's all I wanted to say. I encourage you, and I would like you to, like the guidance is, please go ahead and listen the first video, which is general messages for all this water signs, just because this is kind of a continuation and a specific message for you guys, for Pisces, and what to expect and what can come up specifically for you guys. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I wanted to say, so I have 3 tarot cards for you guys. I have a little bit more because I had a couple more that came up in the central position, but I will talk about it. And then there is 3 kind of oracle cards as clarifiers as well for the start, and then I will pull afterwards. I will pull 2 cards from 2 different oracle decks just to give you perhaps like random messages, but also relating to the year. And I wanted to say, you do have actually air cards, so air are like sword cards. And I wanted to say that you may experience a lot of mental activity during the year, so at any different points in time, which means that you perhaps will be learning, or you'll be perhaps even required to kind of learn more about your mind and about your thoughts, your thought patterns. And perhaps learning also how you can release, for example, your worries. I think the worries come up strongly through perhaps some various aspect of meditation or healing practices, right? So perhaps the main point here, and we talked a lot about perhaps, so the main message was a lot about taking your power back, or regaining your power, or reclaiming your power in various different situations. So I would say that for you, you probably will be, like the guidance from me at least is that you are asked to look a lot at your thought patterns and your thoughts and your mental activity, and by working with your thoughts, right, perhaps a little bit as opposed to emotions, even though Pisces, you are a water sign, you have a lot of emotions, but you are requested anyway to work a lot, like to work more with your mental activity, right? And to release perhaps the negative thoughts and negative thinking patterns. So we will start, so I've got the 3 cards, but this is, okay, so let's start with, this is a little bit like a past position, but I feel like this also, it just relates to what is, let's say, a continuation in this year as well. So you've got the 8 of Air with the indecision card. I would say that in the past, you may have, because this card is a lot about, you may have felt either a lot of blockages or let's say a lot of stuckness in various situations in your life. It may have been, this kind of aspect may have been prominent actually in 2022 for you, perhaps for some of you in 2021. I can only tell you this because I know that I had a lot of blockages in 2021, for example, and I found it really difficult and frustrating, and I had to do how to deal with them, and I had to do a lot of healing and releasing work in order to actually move myself forward, and it was even important situations in my life. So I feel like it may relate to some of you as well, right? I'm not a Pisces. I have Pisces, for example, in my 12th house, for example. So that's why I wanted to say, so in the past, either the past year or the previous even 1 or 2 years, you may have had some situations, some blockages, feeling stuck. And I feel like perhaps even feeling stuck to the extent that you couldn't make decisions really, or you didn't know how to make decisions. Again, how you handle this in the past, I would say this is very individual, right? But the main message is that if you have been, this is okay. So for you in the reading, it comes like this is your past position, and perhaps you are this year, you'll be able to perhaps come out of it, perhaps step by step, perhaps by applying maybe some let's say, okay, meditation work or healing work or any other aspect of inner shadow work as well. Yeah, and let me take, and I think so this is the first message. Yeah, and I feel like so obviously you will need to work with this also to release, maybe as I said, like I had to do, to release something from within yourself, perhaps also all the emotions, but also to change your thinking patterns a little bit. And this is your kind of present, so this is like a present position, but also the center of your reading. And it actually came like this. So okay, so this first, so the 3 cards, right? And I feel like there is an importance to it. So there's the, first of all was 3 of Air, which is like 3 of Swords, and this actually talks about healing from perhaps either wounds from the past, but it may also be just healing because some wounds or some hurts are coming up in the present moment, and they may be coming up, right, throughout the year, let's say. But then you have like, but you see the way you handled, I feel like for many of you, it's also a card of healing. So you may have known this in the past. Maybe you already tried to heal or apply healing or other methods like meditation to move forward from, let's say, feeling for the hurt or from the wound. But I feel like, but the second card, when I looked at this with the 9 of Water, and 9 of Water is a positive, is a wish fulfillment card, so that your wishes will come true, and your desires, and you can achieve a fulfillment of your desires, right? Maybe not like fully in 2023, but you can have whatever you wish or whatever you want. And it came actually, so let me just show you, and it came also with the Unity card, and the Unity card is actually the Hierophant card in the traditional deck. And this talks here for you guys, it talks a lot about following or seeking a spiritual teacher. But even if you, and I think you are being encouraged that even if you are seeking, let's say, therapeutic help, then try to seek for people who are spiritually awakened to some extent at least, right? And seeking spiritual teachings and spiritual teachers, and also applying and doing your own spiritual practice. And I feel this will be very important throughout the whole 2023 for you. And it will be also very important, as I mentioned, perhaps to calm your mind, to perhaps even still your mind. So for example, meditation practice can be very useful and helpful, as well as any healing, right, practice, to calm your mind, to still your mind, to a little bit maybe withdraw emotionally, if that makes sense, and to find some peace inside of you as well, right? So seeking spiritual teachers or therapists who are spiritually minded, and also your own spiritual practice, very important. And I feel like with the 3, they came together like this. And I feel like the message is that the more you can, so kind of like from bottom up, right, the more you can, the more you can apply the spiritual practice in everyday life as well, and also perhaps in your healing process. But I feel like actually if you can apply the spiritual practice or your spiritual principles, let's say, into your daily life and daily decisions, then you can be satisfied, you can achieve, so you can have, let's say that you can have your wishes fulfilled, right? You can have also satisfaction, because this is a lot about fulfillment and satisfaction in life, and you can steadily and slowly work on that, and you can have, like, you can really achieve whatever you want, at least I feel like it's smaller things in life. It's not necessarily maybe something big, but once you achieve smaller things, then you will achieve also, you can work towards, for example, I don't know, a new wonderful, let's say, love partnership, for example. And it's kind of funny because the last, like, or the first card was the Three of Wares. So the Three of Wares is telling you that also by healing yourself, by applying, so like if there's any wounding, any difficulty, any hurt coming up, or someone, this is heartache and loss as well, then by knowing that this came for a reason, for example, and applying an aspect of practice, spiritual practice, spiritually, let's say, seeking spiritual minded people, or being a monk or amongst spiritually minded people, and also applying a healing, some aspect of a healing or spiritual healing practice, will help with kind of as if you transform your heart into, let's say, empowering yourself, and then being able actually to manifest your wish, like your wishes, for example, to, or your fulfillment in life, right, with whatever you want. But the importance is with the spiritual practice, if that makes sense. And this actually also came with the Angel of Balance, so with the Balance card. And I feel that probably there is a confirmation, and there is, like, as we said, the unity, the Hierophant card, that the balance is also important, guys, for you. And perhaps the spiritual practice and the spiritual teachings will be something that will be helping you to achieve more balance in your life, I would say, and perhaps, yeah, and in your healing, and even in the way you feel, I would say, right? And then this is the last message, but I feel like it probably will be coming through the year sometimes, and that's why I talked about mental activities, but also paying attention to your fears and to your worries, especially, or both of it, and learning. And this actually also comes with the 7th chakra, which is Archangel Uriel. And Archangel Uriel, again, for those who either have or haven't worked with angels, Archangel Uriel can, or Uriel, however you can, please connect with him, and he's great. He can help you. He actually does help a lot with mental clarity, with perhaps seeking new knowledge, but also helps you with releasing some negative patterns and emotions as well, right? But this 7th chakra is the crown chakra, and this is a confirmation. Crown chakra is a lot about connection, your connection with spirit and your spirituality. And I would suggest that maybe that's why it comes together, to tell you that even though you may experience for negative emotions and negative, especially the mental activity on the negative side of it, so you are being reminded and requested even to reminded that you can work with that you don't need to, you can release it. And very often, if you have some people have, for example, addiction too, so that they have constant worrying, for example. So by spotting it, remember that by spotting it and just being aware of it, it's already like a part of your work that is done. Once you know it and you catch yourself that, oh, I'm worried, then this is when you can, and sometimes you can learn also spiritual but very simple techniques. So again, seeking the right teachers, right, or right therapists, for example, or maybe even the right readers or coaches. So by applying sometimes spiritual but also simple techniques, you can perhaps catch yourself and release the worry step by step, because it's also a process, right? It's a process of healing, and some people, it can be like an addiction to worrying, right? Especially, for example, I don't know if this was somewhere part of your past, maybe your upbringing. But anyway, I just probably don't want to go too much on that. Remember that any mental negative activity or worrying, or even your fears, you can work with it and you can release it, and you are being advised to seek spiritual methods, and also spiritually, let's say, based therapeutic methods, and simple methods to help you transform this and kind of continuously keep releasing and keep uplifting your thoughts. All right. And this also will also, and now just coming back, because there was a lot about power and empowerment also in the first general message, and this will help you with understanding perhaps your power better, and perhaps taking your power back in situations in life, right? And wherever you felt that you were hurt, you will be able perhaps to heal yourself and to come up, to feel better, right? And to come up higher in a way. This is how it comes. All right. Okay. Let me just stop. Sorry, just my breath. So now I've got a spirit animal. So for Pisces, okay, I've got a spirit animal deck. That's interesting. Oracle deck, and I will have, let me just take one more. I don't know if there was okay. Okay, let me just ask for Pisces, please. Okay, let me take this one for you. So that's interesting because you have a peak spirit. Also, I've mentioned this I think to Scorpio because Scorpio was also, let's say, choosing this deck for themselves. So animals may be very important in your life, and also connecting with like animal spirit guides, right? So animals can be very powerful, powerful spirit guides, and can bring you wonderful messages, and they're also very loving, right? So perhaps just for some of you a reminder, or perhaps even a message just to connect with animals, right? Or connect with your pets if you have some. Peak spirit, it does say use your mind wisely, and I know that peak spirit as a symbology, like as a symbol, is a representation of like also of like overactive mind sometimes, or like the mind that kind of it's a little bit like a Gemini mind as well. But anyway, it's just like jumping through many different ideas, but then not coming to conclusions. So I would just say that peak spirit is just, yeah, it's just telling you use your mind wisely, right? So it's perhaps you guys will be learning maybe throughout the year how to work with you, and how to calm down, how to calm your mind, how to still your mind, and how to use it and use your thoughts in a more positive way, right? And to manifest better perhaps. And then, but then on the other hand, you have a sun, that's a sandpiper spirit. I don't always know. Sandpiper spirit, and this actually says be playful. Let me just look at the animal. I think you are being requested that, yeah, probably while, because this may come also, I feel like there may be some seriousness around it, especially if you've had a lot of worrying. And you may even notice that you are too serious about something, and I think that this sandpiper spirit is just reminding you also to kind of be a little bit playful as well with yourself, right? Or maybe pay attention to where you can bring more joy or more fun, I would say, and even entertainment to your life, right? So even I would even suggest, it doesn't mean that, but even sometimes listening to like angel tarot readings can also be entertaining. I used to do that. I actually quite like watching them if I want to be uplifted. They are very if you watch the right people, they can be very uplifting, right? But again, just be playful. So playfulness, and paying attention to bring a little bit more fun and joy into your life, and just to kind of perhaps also, because you had that card of balance, right? So just to balance any heavy emotions or any heavy, let's say heavy kind of heavy thoughts, right? Or heavy even worrying. All right, and I've got one more card for you, dear Pisces. One more oracle deck, which came also for you. So let me see what's the message. Okay, this came, yeah, let me just see. I've got one more message for you, or another message for Pisces, please. Okay. Okay, let me go with all of them. I think that they are a little bit separate. So the first card came and it felt like a little bit reversed actually. And this is Archangel Raguel, and it does say justice, harmony, and solutions. Archangel Raguel is and the archangel who helps a lot, for example, with conflicts and with conflict resolution, or with handling conflict in your life. Obviously, the bottom says justice, harmony, and solutions. This card, like it came whenever it flew out of the deck, but I feel like it came a little bit like as a reversed to show you that. Let me just feel into it. I think wherever there was injustice or conflict in your life, right, then you can please connect. I feel like you may be coming out of it, maybe slowly and steadily. Maybe that's why I pay attention to the overactive mind, right? Because this can also pertain to the inner conflict or conflicting thoughts. But work with Archangel, I would say, work with Archangel Raguel, who can help you balance yourself and understand perhaps why there was. So it feels like it's a bit of a serious card, why there was an injustice in your life, perhaps in the past, and how you can bring about more justice to yourself and to balance, let's say, karmically certain situations. And I feel like most of you understand it, or some of you. You can also perhaps research more about, let's say, karmic imbalances or karmic balance or justice as well. But I feel like please work with Archangel Raguel or seek the right spiritual teachers to help you also. It's something about to bring more justice into your life, I feel, and more balance, right? And perhaps by also bringing more balance into your thought patterns, you will also be able to perhaps handle some situations better, right? And see more just and fairness in your life as well. And you do have, and I think this is a bit of a lighter note. Let me just see. You've got Archangel Raziel, wisdom and connections. Right, so this is a little bit, I don't know if it's on a lighter note, I don't know, but Archangel Raziel comes, Archangel Raziel, I call it Raziel, but I think some people may also pronounce it Raziel. Um, I feel like it's just sometimes a personal preference, right? So this card says wisdom, inspiration, Akashic records. Actually, I know that I've started also myself because I had a lot of questions about my past lives, and I've started to work actually with Archangel Raziel recently more, let's say. So I just wanted to say that maybe that's a suggestion for you guys, that work with Archangel Raziel if you wanted to understand your past, because he's also an archangel of esoteric information, and so information about, for example, your past lives, or information, for example, about understanding a spiritual, yeah, like a spiritual understanding as to why things have been happening in your life, and so perhaps coming back to the injustice, why there was a karmic imbalance, for example, and some aspects of injustice in your life as well, right? But I feel like this actually is a little bit more positive. I feel it's a lighter message, and Archangel Raziel is also asking you, there's also an aspect about connections, and this is about partnerships, contract commitment. I think it's about relationships and partnerships, I would say, in general. So it could be various, like friendships, for example, or business. I think what comes to it is either business partnerships or friendships. And as always, it may relate to love partnerships, right? And love, romantic love partners. So there is, yeah, so there's perhaps some connection. I don't know, you may be working. So I think something is coming up during the year. You probably will be working maybe on attracting a new partner or working with people. And Archangel Raziel is perhaps, so I would say there'll be something coming up perhaps around relationships and partnerships, and Archangel Raziel is telling you that you can work with him or with a spiritual teacher that you've chosen to perhaps understand some imbalances or some aspect on relationships. But I feel like it's also positive. You can also understand perhaps what happened in your past lives, or why there was an injustice in the past, but now you have actually an opportunity, but you need to, but I feel like you need to work with spiritual teachers to understand the depth of it, or the deeper truth of it, how you can bring this to balance, and how you can actually manifest better and maybe more loving relationships into your life. All right, I think this is it. I think that it feels like it's a deeper and maybe more complex message, but it's a lot about like working with relationships, understanding the past, but also how you can now change it and attract, let's say, more loving and maybe more appreciative people to your life, or something like that. All right, guys. Okay, I think this is all I have for you, Pisces. Thank you for watching the video. Please do hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, or share it with your friends. I'll be very grateful for that. I'm wishing you all the best in the whole 2023, of course, and please do come back, check my, I hope to see you, actually check my later videos that I'm going to post, and I hope to see you soon, and take care of yourselves. Bye.